Hey Mason Jarrett here. Today I'm going to be doing a Rise of Nations tutorial. In the video I'll go over 5 main topics: absolute beginner stuff, economy, combat, how to keep unrest low and morale high, and then finally diplomacy. I'm going to be starting off as Georgia. It's a really good starter country if you're doing a small country, and has a lot of beginner stuff that's going to be useful. So let's start off as playing as Georgia. Um, I'm playing on a server with 3 random people. They've decided not to, completely fuck me over. Let's hope that's the case. Um, so if I get fucked, I apologize about that. First things first, what you want to do is I'll go over complete beginner stuff. So here, how you click on, for example, if you have a city with infantry on it, you shift click to click on the city itself. You can build roads, unit, building, then resources. You can see the resource output and what it takes up. And then if you want to click on the inventory, you just don't click anything. You click directly on it. You can start training, assign group, you can turn reinforcements on and off, halt, split in half, all that jazz, right? So first thing you want to do when you spawn in is try to become friends with people. Um, you know, so how you do that is you click on the country and then you form lines. And I'm going to be forming lines with all of the people that I'm playing with right now. I think that's, let's see, North Sea, Farm Alliance, and then Mexican Empire. Alright. Usually it's a lot harder when you're playing a game, it's a normal game. Some people don't want to be friends and you have to deal with that in different ways. So, alright, now I'm allies with all of them, so they're going to have to break ties with me if they want to, completely fuck me over. So first thing I usually do when I spawn in as a small country is you press control, not control actually, you just go over all of your cities. Fuck, that's not working. But you hold down control, go over all of your cities, right? First thing I do, I like doing making recruitment centers, right? I'm gonna need a lot of manpower in order to take over what I want to take over. So once you got your recruitment centers, going, go over to your country. Usually you start off with only 200 political power. I got kind of lucky because this game's been going on for a while, so automatically it's kind of started me off with more than usual. So first thing you want to do is go over and make sure that you have, conscription laws in place. You need as much manpower as you can get. So go over here, do units, and go over and make as much infantry as you can. Then you want to justify war. You can't just directly go in and take over a country. First, you got to justify. So let's declare war. Oh, no, not declare. Justify war on Armenia. And let's go for Uzbekistan. Or however the fuck you say that. Alright. So now I'm going to go, while those are justifying, I'm going to go over some basic knowledge. So you have, 5 main sections. You have your country, and go over and form, what's the word, you can form things. For example, if I want to form Transcaucasia, which is what I'm going to be doing, I have to go over Azerbaijan and Armenia. Let's see what else. And then after that, you have country. Also, here you can adjust the conscription laws. You must be at war for that one. Then you have ideologies. Honestly, I'm going for nationalism this one because it gives you what's the word? Increased manpower, decreased military upkeep, and minus justification time, plus extra stability, which is good. Always good. So now let's go over technology. Usually you don't have anywhere near this, but first thing you do is you go over to do research. You want to get research as high as possible because this affects how much research comes in, which is very important. You can go over infantry. Honestly, I mostly go for mobilization just because I'm going to be taking over Iran. And honestly, if you're in a place like Europe where most of the fighting is close quarters and pretty maneuverable, I usually go for attack or anti-tank if I'm fighting big ass world powers. But if you're in a place like Asia or the desert or where there's big land masses that are hard to maneuver, I usually go for mobility. And also always construct monuments if you can. They help with stability and all that shit. And stability is your best friend in this game. All right, you can be a big ass country like Russia, own all of this shit, all of this shit, and if you have very high unrest and low stability, your countries can secede and become their own countries again, which you don't want that. So keeping stability high and your people happy is a very important thing. So first thing I do, so I've got my troops here. Let's make a couple more. First thing you want to do is go over to your military, and usually you only have like 600. But like I said, this game I joined in late games, 2034 right now, so the AI country has automatically been saving it up. So, and recruit army leaders. So I usually keep 3. I usually keep 1 for mobility, 1 for attack, and 1 for defense. So this one's kind of like all around, has better defense. So let's miss that old one. Also, before you do that, go over to your doctrines and do specializations. Helps you out. I didn't know about this for all, but you can see all the benefits there. So I usually go over to specialization. If you can fucking do it or not, maybe. Oh, I'm not. Never mind. So all this, I'm probably gonna lean with this one. So I usually go over. I go to military groups. Create one. I'm gonna name it Georgian Home Guard. Alright, so you've created that, then you click out, click back in, go over to your military leaders, then you have to assign them. Alright, so bada bing bada boom. And good. So now you have your military group. Alright, and it will automatically give them all the perks. So I'll show you how to do this. So you click on your infantry or whatever unit you want, do assign group, and you assign it to the group. Right, now that group, since it has a military leader, it gives them 12% defense increase, 7% movement increase, and then -7 attack, which isn't a really great statistic, but overall it's not that bad. So first thing you want to do is you want to get your money up. Right now I only have $75,000. Yeah, I can maintain 100k troops right now, pretty easy. But once I get conquering Uzbekistan or whatever the fuck in Iran, I'm gonna need a lot more troops. So fuck, I'll cover it up. So what you want to do is, so now I've got my infantry here, right, with military group and all that. Go over to the country you want to take over, and you click declare war. Now this technique is it doesn't really have a name, but usually what I do, instead of just going directly for the person, you go over here and you take one of their cities. All right. Now, if you take one of their cities, the AI infantry will come over and attack you. And the thing is that when you're attacking them on a position, you're gonna be taking a lot more damage. Whereas if you're over here and you're dug in, they attack you, you'll take almost no damage, right? Like that 20,000 troops right there only took out like 6,000 of my troops. And after that, I go over and take their capital first. Then after that, I'll take over the rest of the cities, because once you take their capital, it's easier to take the rest of the cities. So when that's going on, I want you to go over here to resources. All right. Now, the main things we're going to be looking at right now is gold and copper. All right. Now, I think I have to take over Azerbaijan or wherever the fuck first. But alright, let's go over to gold, and you see resources are very helpful in this game. Most of them don't really do anything, like fucking fertilizer and phosphate. Those don't really have any use. But we're gonna be looking right now is gold and copper. Alright, so you go over to the cities that have gold and copper. Alright, go over to buildings, then mines. This doubles the output in those areas. Then let's go over to copper. Go over to these ones. Then mines. Alright. Can you please just, auto capture? Thank you. Alright, so once those are building, let's focus on conquering the rest of Armenia. Now, each country, they have like different amounts of, starting troops and starting resources. For example, if you're fucking, Guam or wherever the fuck, you can't really use the same tactics. You have to go different very different way of doing things. But if, for most countries, this is usually how I start out. Um, let's see. Let me look at my list right here. All right, so I went over that. Let's look over here. Diplomacy. So this over here, this is where you inform alliances, justify war goals, send aid to other countries. Sending aid can be very useful. For example, let's say I went over to Russia and was like, hey, can you cede over, these countries and I'll give you, these cities and I'll give you X amount of dollars. Or, hey, if I send you aid for this war, will you give me something in return? Aid is a very useful tool that it takes practice on how to learn how to use it, but keeping your neighbors happy and like compromising is very useful. I mean, also in few cities, do other stuff, and view all of your trades you're doing. Now, I'll get into trading and resources later. Then you have your economy. All right, here it shows you what your income is, what your expenses are, and your economic laws, example, taxes, government spending, research, and all that. I'll get into all that later. Fuck. No, accept the demands. Fuck it. Alright. Then, over here you have technology. I've kind of gone over that. It goes from everything from infantry to political, which actually I should probably... Let's see. Let me do this real quick. I'm going for political power gain and base stability. Alright? Now, integration speed is kind of useful, but I usually don't go for it. It's just kind of a waste of money, in my opinion. Well, not money, but technology. So, political power game. I'll show you how to do that real quick. Actually, I should probably... Wait. Alright, the mines are made. Wait 1 second. Alright, I'll get to that in a minute. First, I'm going to show you about electronics. Alright, now this is kind of it's called AI manipulation and resources. So first thing you want to do electronics factory. You can work for other things, you can sell other things as well, but electronics are a very valuable commodity that are pretty easy to make. And usually when you log onto a new server, it's pretty hard to find an AI to sell it to. Because, for example, if I went over to Russia, I was like, hey, you want to buy some electronics? It would say no, because, they aren't getting anything from it. But AI, they're coded to accept any trade offer that doesn't put them in debt. So once this electronics factory is finished building, it's halfway there. I'm gonna, what's the word? I'll show you how to do that. So right now, let's just get started building some more units. Another thing is if the unrest is high in a country or a city, you can't build things or build units there. So that's something to keep in mind. And also, like when you invade, for example, I'm going to get ready to invade Iran. I want to make sure I have enough troops up here to do a full invasion because, oh shit. That wasn't supposed to happen. And also, when you're allies with somebody, they can call you to arms. For example, like if I was at war with Russia, I could be like, hey, Turkey, could you help me out? And I could call them to arms if we were allied. But, alright, thank God. I did not need Russia to fuck me over. Alright, so once that, okay, my electronics factory is finished being built. So what you want to do is you go over and go over your country, go over to resources/trade. Now, the cash cow of all this is 90% of the time India, if they're not taken over by somebody. But just look around for a country that makes a lot of money that is controlled by an AI. So I have 16 electronics here, right? So let's go over to India. What the fuck are you, India? Alright, I think Brazil will work. Alright, over, type in 16, and then you sell. Alright, see? So now I went from making only like, what, 70,000 a year to making 1.6 million. Alright, that's going to be close to enough to help, boost up the war machine for taking over Iran later. So once that's going, I'll be able to, see, let's make some more infantry. Alright, well that's building up diplomacy. Alright, now another thing you can do, which I usually like doing right off the bat, is setting up a home base. Alright, make fortifications. What fortifications do is, for example, if Russia over here decided to invade me, fortification increases your defense by a fuck ton. Alright? So it's very useful to have. It's just as kind of a last ditch. If they're very unprepared in the invasion, that usually takes out their whole fucking invasion force and usually negotiate for white peace after that. Um, anyway, what's next? Oh fuck, I almost forgot. Alright, so when you annex a country, so over here, most people just go for annex, demand war reparation, and seize the treasury. All right. So if you make them pay you war reparations, and if you seize their treasury, they're gonna then the rest is gonna be way higher. And it's gonna be longer until it goes down. But right now, since I kind of need the money, I'm gonna seize their treasury and annex their countries. So all right, once you annex them, then the rest begins to go down, and you begin integrating them into your country. So, let's see. Alright, I've got 90k there. Alright. First thing I do is we'll repeat the tactic we use for our Armenia with Uzbekistan, or whatever the fuck. How do you even say that name? Jeez. Alright. So, you can tell through AI because it says Uzbekistan AI or whatever. And they're like a lot bigger country than us, but because of the tactics I'm going to show you, they're pretty easy to take over. So once these two merge, can you please merge? Thank you. Alright, let's just declare war real quick. And when you declare war with an AI, they won't automatically attack you. Alright, they only recapture the cities you spend. So I could declare. Oh, alright. This wasn't supposed to happen, but maybe they are. I don't know what happened here, but alright. So see, 20k troops going against my 50,000, and since they're standing still and dug in, they're gonna die pretty much instantly. Let's grant funding here. Alright, then after that, go over and auto capture. So when that's going on, I'll show you some more things about this game. So technology, I showed you military. So now let's see, look at my list real quick. Let's see. And also, always reject corporate dealings or anything that has to do with corruption, because once you get corruption, it fucks over your country and it takes a while to get rid of it, and it makes the unrest and stability, go up. Well, stability go down. Anyway, so I'm going to go over taxes and government spending. So, see how the unrest is super high here. If you're having a lot of unrest, problems, or if you see any notification that says, there's unrest in, Armenia or Uzbekistan or Georgia or whatever, that's really bad news, because that means they might revolt and, become their own country again. So, what I like doing is once I have, my cash flow coming in, I go over, and depending on how much money you have, how much you're willing to spend, alright? You put your taxes lower and your government spending high, alright? So government spending, this, increases your stability, it increases your rebel suppression ×2, and helps with the political power game, and then war exhaustion reduction, those are all really good things. And yeah, you're making less money now, but your people are happy, and that's all that matters, really. So always keeping taxes low and government spending high is a good idea. I wish I was like that in the real world, right? Alright, I never really do war reparations because they don't even make that much money, and it makes them pissed off, like I would be too. Alright, after this, let's justify war with Iran real quick. So if I'm going to be going up against war with Iran, I have to boost up my military fuck ton. Alright, so I'm going to wait for the unrest to go down here, and let's go over to policies. I'll show you policies real quick. So policies, how they work is you have a bunch of different policies, and they do different things, alright? Now, you also have to keep in mind, you never want your political power to go down, alright? I have an increase of 3 right now, so I can do a couple of policies and be good. So, let's go over to policies. Let's choose a couple. Choose whatever policies work for you. But I usually like doing the welfare because it increases stability, and I like doing, what's another one? If you have all the countries you wanted to take over, the neutrality act's a really, really good suggestion. But because we're going to be declaring war on countries and fighting a lot. I usually never do neutrality. Military Service Act, that's a pretty good one. It increases your manpower, which is what we really need right now. And then let's see, nice. I usually do anti-corruption. It decreases your tax income, but then you have a way less chance of getting mass corruption perk or whatever, which really fucks you up. And then what's another one I usually do? Right now I'm just mostly looking for ones that increases my military. And I guess I could choose Advanced Research Bureau. So, see, now I'm at an increase of 0.9, which isn't, oh, okay, 0.1. But that's not a big problem. Increase my political power gain some more. Let's go over to Infantry. I got those. Let's just save it for that one. Alright, like I said, Iran, it's a very desert and, mountainous country. So it takes a lot longer for your troops to move through Iran than it would, for example, Western Europe or whatever. That's, very tame in comparison. So, next thing you want to do is, so then rest is low. Alright, next thing you want to do is just kind of click on all of them and do recruitment centers. Alright, recruitment centers are your friend. They basically increase your manpower and game by 25% total. So once those are going, let's build some more units. Alright, that's like the thing that sucks about starting out as a small country is, like I said, you're gonna have low manpower and you have to work around it. But using my tactics, it shouldn't be a huge problem. Let's form lines. Oh, we're allied already? Alright, cool. I think they're having a war right now, I'm not sure. Yep. Alright, and also another thing you should keep in mind is always keep, tabs on what's going on, always check your messages, alright? For example, if Russia's like, hey, give me money or else I won't take you over, and I didn't see the message, you might just take me over, whereas if I was looking at the messages, I'd be able to see that and stop a war from happening. Always, talk to people, make friends, make allies, and plan shit, alright? Another thing I usually do is I try to keep DMZ zones, demilitarized zones, alright? These help, both sides feel safe and help, you both not to worry about an invasion, alright? So Russians like, hey Russia, 1 second. Or he might just say fuck you, I don't care, but like, he might say yes. If you're a bigger country, it usually works. Usually what I do when I'm playing as Russia, I always try to make friends with Germany and like have a DMZ zone. Yes, he said sure. So see, now he's eventually gonna move his infantry away from his border, and I don't have to worry about keeping a fuck ton of troops over here, to match his troops, and so I'll have more troops to take over other countries with, which is always good. So actually, fuck. Yeah, always try to make friends. Always, And also, I really shout out to people, helping me out and not fucking, completely demolishing my country during this video. Anyway, so let's see, where was I? Fuck. Oh yeah, DMZ zones. Like I said, that's usually when I'm playing as Russia, I usually kind of like negotiate and compromise with countries. I'll be like, hey Germany, I'll take half Poland. I take the other half, and we'll keep the border demilitarized. That's how. Most people don't do that. They keep all of their borders with all the countries, militarized, either to prepare for invasion or to protect themselves. Usually, it's the former or the latter. And when they do that, that makes everybody around you scared, and want to keep their borders, militarized. And they might do a preemptive strike. Whereas I go the opposite route. I talk to people, I negotiate, and be like, hey, we both don't want this war. Let's just be friends. So being allies with people and giving them aid when they need it, and helping your friends and allies out is how you ultimately win this game. I was fucking playing as North Korea one game, and I fucking conquered all of Indonesia, all of this area, half Japan, by negotiating with South Korea, Russia, and China, you know. Usually, if I just said, "Hey, fuck you," went to war with everybody, or just kind of stuck by myself, that would have never happened. Um, what's the word? So, and same thing with Georgia. I was playing and I took over all of Iran, Afghanistan, all of this area as a small ass country. And then my game fucking crashed, which does that. And because I negotiated and I kept DMZ zones and I kept allies and friends, I was able to do that. Or if I said fuck you, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna team up with anybody. That would have never happened. Unless if you're fucking China or USA, you have to make friends. So, let's see, auto merge on. Alright, let me go over to my country. Fuck, I need way more fucking people for this invasion. I usually like try to at least have 500,000 to do an invasion of Iran of this country, but it really kind of depends on how you want to go about it. I'm sorry if my voice sounds like shit. I haven't been feeling too well lately. So let's see what's another thing. I have like a list of shit to talk about right now. What? Oh shoot. Oh, we're good. Truces, they're different. If you're in a truce with somebody, it means they can't invade you no matter what. But if you're in an alliance with somebody, what's the word? That means they have to break ties, and it automatically puts in a truce before they can invade you. So, that makes up our alliance. Let's see. Over resources. Most of these don't really matter. I mean, oil is kind of important if you have tanks, but I don't really. Wait, do we even have a thing to make tanks? No, I need titanium for. Or is it tungsten? I don't fucking know. I don't even have what I need for tanks. Once I take over Iran, I should be able to show you. Alright, next things. Next. Go over, pull up your troops there. Show you that. Let's see. Look at my list real quick. And also in developed cities, for example, when you have like a lot of extra income, I usually just click on all my cities and click develop. This costs a lot of money, but it decreases unrest and makes the people happy, and you get a little bit more tax income. So it's something to keep in mind when you have a lot of money like me just hanging around. Let's see what's next. Another thing is when you have a bunch of troops here just hanging around doing nothing, you can start training. And this increases their experience, which increases their attack/defense bonus. It costs money, but like I said, if you have a decent amount of money, like we do, it's usually a good thing to do. Another thing is when I'm playing as a big ass country like Russia, sometimes I might even cede a part of a country on the border with another country to a different country across the world. Because when you do that, that means that in order for them to declare war on you, they have to declare war on a bigger guy that they don't want to fuck with. So that usually keeps it safe. It doesn't work all the time, but it's just something to keep in mind. Now during the rest of the video, I'll show you some tactics on more combat tactics and how to take over more countries. And also, I usually always grant funding. You always want as much research as you can. Let's see. I usually only worry about anti-tank weapons. If I was like worrying about Russia invading me, I'd always what I would do is I'd have like a bunch of troops here at the fortification, and I would have anti-tank weapon maxed out by now. Because if they invaded with a fuck ton of tanks and they all went for this one person, they'd like. I've had times where I've had like only like 100,000 troops at one city, and it took out like 1,000,000 troops easily. fortifications are the way to go. So now, so we have around 3,000. Let's get this up to like 500,000, then we should be able to invade. Blackmail threats, they're kind of annoying as fuck. I usually try to, fucking kill them. But it's up to you. Like I said, always keep corruption low. Let's see, increase one, let's go over to policies again. I usually never try to rely on taxes because people just fucking hate taxes. Liberation Act. Oh, I love this one. If you can read the thing real quick, it decreases unrest reduction by 10%. Oh, cool, nice. I don't know how the fuck he leveled up, but that's cool. Not complaining. Now, Iran, they have two units with 90k each, so they are, harder to take over. They have more troops in Georgia, Armenia and all that, so keep that in mind. I usually try to have at least double the amount of their troops they have. But like I said, this is a big-ass country with, mountainous areas, so keep mobility in mind. Alright, we should be good. And also, if you're in the country's territory, you can't declare war on them, so if that, just keep that in mind. So, alright, just declared war on Iran. So, what you do is do the same thing. Go over to take over one of their cities, and the AI will automatically go for it. Now, for my technique here, I usually go along all these border cities until I make it to the capital, and by then the second AI that's triggered would go over there, and then by the end of it, all the military would be destroyed, and then I can easily take over the rest of the cities with, little resistance. So, another thing to keep in mind is AI, they don't build up any military. They have their starting military, and they don't build up any more for whatever reason. I don't fucking know. Alright? If Iran was a person, an actual, human player, I would never do this, because they could just build up a fuck ton of countries and just take them down immediately. But since it's AI, they don't build up the military at all, so you don't have to worry about it as much. So this is kind of a lengthy operation. I went over most of the stuff I did now. So after I take over the capital, I'll cut forward to after I build country, and then more tips and tricks, and then I'll end the video. I hate how slow the troops move in this game. Like, definitely when you're going through the fucking desert. Let's see. Yeah, I have like 70 fucking stability right now. If it's over 50, you should be go. But whenever it's decreasing, do whatever you can to increase your stability. Because the lower the stability, the more likely they are to revolt, and that's never good. And the less stability you have, the more likely the workers are to resist, and all that shit. It's just not a good time. It's no bueno. All right, I wasn't paying attention, but like I said, they just fucking came in, and 90k just got. Oh, thank you, Russia. Anyway, 90k just got demolished, and I took almost no casualties. So, all right, after that, I usually take over these ones over here, and I go for the capital. The more people a city has, the harder it is to take over. So if I had like 1,000 troops going over for the capital, they'd be fucking killed, because 7.9 million people resisting, we're gonna kill 1,000 troops pretty easy. So just keep that in mind. For smaller areas like this, I usually have units of like 20 to 40k take them over. But for bigger cities like the square ones, I usually have up to 100,000 people take them over. I always say thank you. If somebody sends you aid, fucking say thank you, that motherfucker. Alright? Because if you don't, they're not gonna be happy about it. If I send fucking $1 million over to Russia and they didn't say anything, I'd be kind of salty about it, wouldn't you? Like this game is just as much about fucking taking over shit as it is being friends with people. Alright, what's next? If we're playing as a bigger country, there's like I'll probably make a tutorial on how to, conquer the whole world as a big country. But right now I'm just starting off as, basic info and, small country shit. While this is happening, I'm gonna go over to our home front and take some more infantry. Alright, now we've triggered this eye, so it's gonna come over, get demolished, and then we can easily take over the capital. Another thing to keep in mind, for example, if Iraq was AI operated, the first thing I would do is take over all of these cities on their border. Alright? Because that means they're way more unlikely to take over. Because usually when I see somebody taking over a country, for example, if I was Iran and I saw Russia start taking over Turkmenistan, I'd go in and take as many cities as I could before take over everything. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to do it in this case because Iraq is an AI player and he's neutral. So I'm just going to take over as I see fit. For some reason, the AI has actually gone for this city, so I'm going to move my troops real quick over there. Let's see. Motherfucker! It does that sometimes. Uncontrollable corruption. Lose a bunch of political power stability. Negative tax income / power gain. And it's just a fucking pain in the ass. Usually when that happens, I go over to here. I'm in debt now, so let's go for technology, political. Book. Ugh. Alright, so if your political power gets to 0, then all of your policies you've enacted, get removed, and it's a pain in the ass to get them back. But since the corruption should be over by the time it gets 0, I'm not worrying about it too much. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. Motherfucker. Ugh. That's nice. Alright, grant funding, technology. Let's increase our stability. That. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright. Alright, so they got completely fucked. So let's go over and take the capital. Now, it usually takes me probably around like 30 minutes to an hour to take over the whole country just because of how, fast it is. So I'm not gonna like have all that in there because that'd just be boring. But and I'll cut that bit out. So pretty soon here we should have the capital in our hands, and that'll make all the other cities easier to take over, and then I'll go from there. Just use the same tactics I use for these countries over here. Like I said, investing in mobility for big ass countries like this is probably the best thing to do. I usually split in half 2 or 3 times, divide up the troops, and then I go for auto capture. Alright, that happened way faster than I thought it was. It was maybe like 10 minutes after I cut out. Anyway, so Iran has collapsed, so I've taken over all of their cities. I'm just going to annex their cities so the unrest will be way lower. So after that's over, I'm going to show you how to build good defenses. If India was actually a player, or Mayan Empire, whatever the fuck it is, if it was actually a player, I'd be very worried of them taking us over. Because, big countries like taking over smaller countries, just kind of the way the world works. So what I usually do is I take all of my troops, put them in one area. I try to, first of all, you try to do it diplomatically, try to establish a DMZ zone, all of that shit. But if that doesn't work and they're building up troops on your border and you're worried about an invasion, what you want to do is first we gotta get the unrest low. It's going down pretty fast. Let's see. Took a lot of casualties during that war, but my manpower is going up really fucking fast. Now we have all of Iran, so their population is now recruitable. So once that unrest is low, I'm gonna put up recruitment centers all across the country and boost up my military more. So just wait for them to get all to this country, not the country, but the city here. Actually, let's use this one. Alright, now that the unrest is lower, what you want to do is check here real quick. Alright, what I want to do is, like I said, like before, go over, actually did the wrong thing. Go over buildings to recruitment centers. Costs a lot of money, but increases your manpower, which is very useful. Do that, and afterwards, you want to set up a line of defense. So I'm going to do, I'm just going to say India is going to be the person we're worried about right now. So go over along all of your borders and set up fortifications. Because when they do auto capture, the AI go for the closest city they are to. And when you have fortifications, they're going to be going, for the cities on your border, obviously first. And if you can stop the initial attack, then you can do a counter attack or negotiate for peace. So once these recruitment centers get finished building, oh fuck, I'm in debt now. Let's go resources. I mean, I have a fuck ton of oil I'm not using. I guess let's sell it to US, I guess. Nice. That should help a little bit. Yeah, alright. I also think there's more copper and shit here. Yeah. Let's go over here. And build some more mines so I can hopefully put up another electronics factory. Another thing you can do is you can actually buy shit from other countries. For example, let's go over and let's get 2 more copper. Actually, one sec. Oh, cool, I can actually make another one right now. Alright, let's go over to Georgia. Let's build another electronics factory. Okay, once these fortifications are built, usually what I like doing is building roads so you can easily resupply them with troops. So I usually do build a road here. Now the thing that sucks is that once they do take over, if they do manage to take over on your fortifications, they can easily make it to this. So I usually try to fortify this place as well. So let's do that real quick. Oh, nice. Build road. Roads are very useful, definitely for fast countries such as Iran. If you're a small country, I wouldn't really worry about it as much, but eventually you're going to have to build some. Now I'm going to start increasing. Let's see. Well, we got 6,000. This will do for right now. So let's split in half. 4 troops. Oh, that should be alright. No, I send one of them to each one. If there's like a big city, if there's like a square city, I usually send extra ones there as like, the main line of defense. But if they're all around the same, I usually divide it up evenly. Because bigger cities are harder to capture, no matter what. And from here, you can, make troops and send them to the front lines way quicker than if you were just building them on the individual one. So, obviously, you're going to want to have a lot more, at least 100,000 per um, fortification, usually. And then more on the bigger ones. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to do a general, fucking, what's it called? General idea of what to do here. And I'd usually, if I was worried about Russia, I'd do the same thing on this border. I wouldn't really worry about roads because they're a lot closer, but I'd go along all the, all of these cities right here, and then I would build fortifications on them. So with this tactic, even if they had like, usually when they do attacks, they usually are stupid and only have 20,000 per unit. So if 20,000 units came for one of these, even if they outnumbered them, even if they outnumbered me like 1 to 5, I'd be able to stop the attack easily. Then after that happens, you'll easily be able to counterattack and take over some of their territory. And then they get scared, then you sue for white peace. So overall, that's the basic gist of it. I hope this tutorial helped you with your knowledge about this game. This game's a learning curve. When I first got into it, I died time and time again, but you learn things like that. This is most of my knowledge about the game and most of the tips and tricks and strategies I use to conquer. After this, it would be easier for me to conquer basically any of my surrounding countries. Hell, even if I wanted to, I could probably take over India if I really wanted to right now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll probably do more tutorials in the future about, how to take over the world as big countries and, or hell, just even gameplay of me actually playing the game and all that shit. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you.